listening to Society Bites Radio, social interaction for the mind and soul. Thanks for joining us. I'm your host, Naomi Slater, and you have tuned in to Divine Couples, adding intimacy, passion, and healing to your lives. Creator of the E-Sensual Tantric Massage and Energy-Based Sensuality and Tantra Systems. Chris is a Tantra, sensuality, and sex educator, an internationally recognized Tai Chi and Qigong master. He is a member of the USA and International Martial Arts Halls of Fame and two-time U.S. National Tai Chi champion. With over 4 decades of experience in these fields, Chris conducts workshops and retreats throughout Europe, Asia, Australia, and the Americas. Having the unusual upbringing of being trained in these fields since his childhood, Chris draws upon 45-plus years of training in tantric practices, meditation, Eastern mysticism, and relational energetics, as well as Qigong and Tai Chi to design these detailed and fun workshops, each of which addresses vitally important aspects of human relating from an energetic standpoint. He is regularly featured presenter at international conferences on Tantra, sexuality, and consciousness, as well as those on Chinese martial arts. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Good, I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. Thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, my pleasure. So, Chris, your mother was a meditation and Tantra teacher. Can you tell us a bit about your unique upbringing?
I guess it was pretty unique. This was back in the late 60s and 70s, and she was a family therapist and a meditation tantra teacher, someone like that. And my father was an artist, and my father was not so much into these fields, but he was into his art. He was into creativity. He was into, how beauty sort of existed in the world. And he was also a nudist. So when he would come home on the weekends, he was working in Manhattan during the day. He would come home on the weekends, and the first thing he would do is set up his painting easel and paints and a chair and out in the backyard in the sun. And I'd wake up on Saturday morning, he'd be out there naked painting, and he would, sit there and talk to me about art and painting and all of that. And then my mother was, constantly working with myself and my 3 younger sisters from the standpoint that somebody who was a family therapist would. And as a meditation teacher, she was teaching this meditation. And of course, my sisters are, some of them like 9 or 10 years old learning this, and I was maybe 15 or 14 at that point, 15, I guess. And
wow.
Then she eventually kind of led me, when I was 17, kind of led me towards this school that she had, been learning through and been part of. And slowly I kind of got integrated into that and worked in that system for about 10 or 12 years.
Wow, that really is quite unusual. I'm curious what this school was that you were studying in.
It was called the Eureka Institute. It was the founder of it was a psychologist, author, and shaman, Bolivian shaman from Bolivia, and then he set the school up and he moved to Chile, Eureka, Chile, and named it after the town there. But this was a school that was all over. There's branches all over the world. There's probably hundreds of branches in 50, 60, maybe 100 different cities. So it was really a very very interesting journey at the time, and very eclectic school. Worked with Tibetan Buddhist Tantra, worked with all sorts of other systems, and that became my college. So I spent 10, 12 years doing college level work in there, sort of full-time study. And
wow.
Yeah.
How unusual. That's fascinating.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's sort of interesting about it is that all of my adult life has been in this field. All of my relationships, all of my adult relationships, all of my romantic relationships, et cetera, like that, have occurred since I was 15, 16, 17 years old. And so they've all occurred within the context of this field of my. And they were with, for the first 10, 12 years, they really were all with people who were within that school too. So I've never really had, I never had the experience of having a relationship outside of this sort of tantric esoteric field. So I think that obviously influenced my approach to things a lot.
Oh, well, absolutely. Most of us other practitioners, teachers or educators, whatever you want to call them, we kind of came to this later on in life. Um, but you were kind of born into it. So how incredible. What an amazing
Yeah,
destiny you have.
yeah, I got lucky.
Very. Yeah, so I know that you teach energy-based tantric massage. Can you tell us what that is?
Well, it's basically, let me see how to put this. It is massage that is geared towards specifically towards working with energy in the body and working with our sort of most powerful energy, and there are sexual energy. And for starters, that's the framework. This is not a massage about working out a knot in your shoulder or fixing your hip or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
This is massage specifically for working with sexual energy and moving it through the body, and sort of making use of and taking advantage of its qualities. So the massage itself has sort of several different stages. One stage is just to basically kind of create comfort in the receiver and to just kind of create safety and comfort. The next stage is to stimulate the nerves and the skin throughout the body, and then after that, what we do is sort of open up the body, like really. So there's a lot of deep massage in it too, a lot of deep tissue in which we're kind of uncongesting areas of the body, opening it up so that when we really get working with that internal energy and with that sexual energy, it'll have some open space to flow through, open channels to flow through. So there's a lot of work, deep work, opening up the body. And then we start stimulating the sexual energy and start moving that and guiding it through the body and bringing it to, if that's what's interested, if that's what we're looking for, bringing it to an orgasmic stage and then moving that energy out through the body. So these orgasms become more full body orgasms, more powerful, more potent. And,
yes.
So that's sort of the sequence in there. That's sort of the concept of it.
Wow, fantastic. Who isn't a yes to that?
Yeah, right.
Sounds amazing. So you started out studying Tai Chi and Qigong. Can you tell us how that or those practices contribute to your work in sexuality?
Okay. They actually came slightly after the like when I was about 15, I was being trained in meditation and so on like that. The Tai Chi and Qigong came when I was 17, so slightly different stage, but they came at the same time I started studying Tantra, so both really within a week or so of each other. And Tai Chi, let me see here. So basically, I guess let me give you my sort of outlook on Tantra a little bit. And there's a number of different ways to define Tantra, but one that seems, I think, fairly functional is that it's sort of described as an expanding and weaving or interweaving and of energy, basically, of consciousness of energy. And there are many systems that are really our tantric systems. So philosophical Taoism, which I've been studying since I was 17 also at the same time, philosophical Taoism is a tantric system. Tai Chi Chuan, when done, if you're doing philosophically based and internal energy based Tai Chi Chuan, is also a tantric system. Not most Tai Chi that people see out there is not that type of Tai Chi, so I guess I should qualify it that way. So what most people have been exposed to is not the internal or spiritually focused Tai Chi, but anyway, if you're studying one of those internal systems of Tai Chi, it is a tantric system because it's based on Taoist principles, and Taoist philosophical principles are tantric principles. Now, the way that looks is the idea, whether you're looking at Eastern Tantra, or whether you're looking at, let's say, Taoism or Tai Chi Chuan, is the objective is to basically merge with the universe. In Taoism, we say merge with the Tao, become part of the Tao.
Mm-hmm.
And in Tai Chi, that's our objective also. So what we start out with is basically, what I start out with is doing, energy work in your own body. So Qigong and Tai Chi to establish your own sense of energy, to establish a fluency in the vocabulary of energy. And I think that's really, really important, because basically energy is a communication system. And if you were to, if you're going to work with somebody's energy, whether you're an acupuncturist or an energy healer or a Tai Chi practitioner or a tantric masseuse or a tantric practitioner, you're working with energy in this other person. And if you don't have an understanding of the language of energy, it's going to be difficult.
Yeah.
It's going to limit your ability to communicate with that person, whether it's in Tai Chi or whether it's in Tantra or anything like this. So what I do is I work with people and with myself in developing fluency in the vocabulary of energy, understanding inside my own body and really understanding energy, so that when I hear that language or see that language in another person, whether I'm sparring with them, grappling or sparring in martial arts, or whether I'm making love, or whether I'm doing Tantra or doing healing work, which I actually don't do that type of healing work, but if somebody's doing that, when I see those energies, then I can read them. I can understand what they're saying, what direction they're going, what's going on with them. If I have no understanding of energy inside myself, then it's a language that's sort of blurry for me. I don't quite understand what's going on. I can't read it as astutely. So
I love the way that you call it a language, because I think it really makes it more understandable for people that are maybe a bit less familiar with these kind of energetic practices. It's like if somebody's speaking to you in Chinese and you don't speak Chinese, you're not going to understand what they're saying.
Yeah, you're in
and
trouble.
It's the same thing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I love that. So how is energy-based sexuality different from regular sexuality? I'm curious to kind of hear your thoughts on that. It seems that, you've been doing this energy-based sexuality your entire life. So I don't know if you'd really be the right person to ask this question, but maybe you have some insight.
Yeah, right. Well, yes. So I agree. Maybe I'm not the best person to ask it. I mean, in one sense, I can describe one side of it. I maybe can't describe the other side quite as well. But I think I get I think I can do it basically, and that is that I think that in regular sexuality, what we are doing is we're focusing on an energy, right? But this generally we're focusing on this orgasmic energy. We're focusing on this orgasm, right? This thing that happens and boom, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so much of the focus is on that one packet of energy, that one form of energy, that it becomes all encompassing. I listen. I could be wrong. this is the way I see it. Okay, that becomes all encompassing for people, and it just becomes the thing. It's sort of it becomes almost a mechanical thing to produce this one energy, and okay, and with this other approach, basically, it's almost like what you're talking about with languages there, where your goal becomes to get the other person to say yes or say something, right? Rather than to say one word or make one statement. Oh, there it is, right? I got that. Rather than having